And so that was the most difficult adjustment that I had to make. Academics was not a problem. The military regiment was not a problem. The schedule of events and things that we did on each day was not a problem. But that contact with other human beings, chastisement, that was definitely an issue.
And Eugene, let me stop you there, because we won't get another opportunity 30 years from now to discuss this. It's taken me 30 years, 30 plus years, to have this discussion with you concerning this. So the word that you really want to say and may have forgotten is hazing. We refined the hazing process at St. Emma Military Academy to a fine science. Let me get, and I need to explain this to young black men who have dads and granddads who went to the academy so they can understand what it was about. As a northerner from Philadelphia, and I was from Philadelphia, I was considered a northerner there. There was a preponderance of southern black young men at the academy. And therefore, since that very much was a part of their tradition there, because it was in Richmond, Virginia, so the fellows from Georgia and Alabama and the southern states, they had a long legacy with the academy. There was fewer people in attending the academy from the northern states. So the moment that I came off the bus at 13 years old from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, there were southern boys there the size of professional football players. Did you hear what I said? Kleber Brown. Kleber Brown. Do you remember Kleber Brown? He was the largest black man.
Barry
Holston. Those were the largest black men I had ever seen. And I thought that they came from the United States Army. They were so big.
You know what else, Brother Van? I said this a couple of days ago. There were some rough-looking guys. I kind of want to say ugly, but I don't want to use that word. They were some rough-looking guys. Tough-looking men.
I was about, at age 13 years old, I was about 4 feet something high. I was a pudgy little kid. I weighed all of about 80 or 90 pounds. And this was the first time that I was actually away from home. And as soon as I came to the campus, I was walking around. My mom and dad brought me in from Philadelphia in their car. And as I was walking around the campus, the non-com upperclassmen, sophomores and juniors and seniors were making signs at me that they were going to kick my ass after mom and dad left. And so as things wound down that day, those non-coms that were making signs that they were going to kick my ass, you know what they did? They found me, and you may not remember this because as a sophomore you may not have been through this, but as a freshman, what they did, they found me where I was on the campus. They got me. They shaved my head.
Oh man!
Yeah, hold on a second. I know you do. I need to make this very clear to all the young men that are listening to this. They shaved my head bald. They beat me. All right, because corporal punishment was not forbidden during that era. It was fine with the priest. They beat my ass.
It was condoned.
Yes, it certainly was. And they put me in my locker. They put me in my locker inside of the bathroom area down there, the laboratories, for an hour. And I remember being so upset, but I had made my mind up that this is something that I was going to do, and I was going to get through that experience. So,
yes, sir.
So all the young men, and this is what everything that I state in this audio podcast, this oral history, is going to outline what our black cadets went through their first year at St. Emma. And it was so ferocious, so fiercely strict in every way and every manner that very few people that I know could have survived in between September and Thanksgiving. And I preference that because that is the period of time that we were considered recruits. We were not cadets yet. We had not earned the right to say that we were St. Emma Military Academy. So let me just ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
If you didn't like what was going on, if someone was harassing you and hazing you or beating you or causing you to walk extra miles or to serve out your PT, your punishment time there at the academy, who could you contact to complain about it, Eugene?
Now, that was, let me say this. I'm thinking as you're talking, because you know something, Mr. Van, my years at St. Emma, I wasn't passive. I think what gave me, I'm going to say, an edge, I really wasn't harassed a lot. I believe what gave me the edge was because I was a fighter myself. And so even when I had non-coms or officers, you know, we used to stand at attention and take those blows in the chest.
Yes, we did.
But with me, it was that if it was deserving, in other words, if there was an order I didn't follow, instructions I didn't follow, and it was deserving, then I took it and sustained myself. But if it was just arbitrary, in other words, not justifiable,
understood.
You know what I'm saying?
Understood.
Then I refused to get my butt whipped. I said, no, you have to deal with me. Now, there's one officer on my south. No, I was in my junior year, I believe, and I don't remember his name, and they wore real thick glasses. I can't remember. I want to say Pope, but I'm not sure if that was the last name.
Yeah, but we don't need to mention his name anyway.
Yeah. We went down into Claver Hall. Wasn't it Claver Hall? Was that the name of it?
That is correct.
We went down into Claver Hall, and fortunately, it was agreed upon by other cadets. That why don't you all just go on down there and just work it out, you know? And I whooped the man's butt.
Indeed.
And I had he was an officer in his senior year.
Indeed.
And so that elevated me to another plateau. I wasn't aware of it at the time, but it elevated me to another plateau at the school. Because even then, as I am in my life now, I offer a lot of love to people. I offer a lot of love. And when you step on my toes, you can't get me angry. That's not the way it is now. God protects me all the way.
Understood.
But during that time, I really didn't have anyone other than some of the other cadets that were there at the school, which were friends of mine, acquaintances that I would talk with to kind of resolve some of those issues, give me some guidelines as to what I need to do and how to absorb what I was going through and experiencing. But I also really want to restate that I didn't have a lot of physical contact, or you know what, Mr. Van, all the years that I was there, I never walked a PT tour. Never had a PT tour.
Really?
I just followed instructions because I knew then that in order to lead, you got to know how to follow.